Sunny day, sweeping the clouds away. Hi everyone, and welcome. My name is Alex, and if you're familiar with that tune I was just singing, you can probably guess this is going to be another Sesame Street video. I previously uploaded a video on my personal top 10 scary Sesame Street moments, because we all know how weird the show could get before roughly the early to mid-2000s. But with 2019 coming to an end with the show's 50th anniversary, I figured I'd mention my love and support for it by mentioning the segments I absolutely loved whenever they came on. With PBS being one of the networks I used to watch the most as a kid, Sesame Street was practically my favorite show to watch on the channel, and I would always get joy out of sitting in front of the TV for an hour watching the show with all its unique skits. But what were some particular skits that made you so excited when they came on? Ones that just instantly put you in a good mood when you saw them pop up on screen. I'm going to list some of mine in this video. Before I begin this video, I'm just going to mention this right off the bat. This list was very hard to pick as there were so many good memories to choose from, and that was also an issue I faced with my previous video. Nonetheless, I am satisfied with my choices. Second, there are not going to be many Muppet skits listed. So, if you're here expecting to see this entirely listed as Muppet skits, I highly suggest clicking back. With that being said, here are my personal top 10 Sesame Street moments that I loved when I was a kid. Number 10. A film about a girl's life in Jamaica.
I live on the island of Jamaica.
Don't worry about a thing.
This film first premiered in Season 25 in Episode 3145 on December 3rd, 1993. In the film, the girl narrates about her life in Jamaica, including her life in school and what she does for fun. I really love seeing the atmosphere of the beautiful island of Jamaica, and that opening shot alone at the very beginning caught my attention. But what I loved the most about this film was its usage of the song Three Little Birds by the late Bob Marley in the background.
When I got home, Marlon and I read the book I bought. Then I helped Mama cook dinner in the kitchen.
This film actually introduced me to the song when I was a kid, and I was surprised to hear it fully on its own later on, originally thinking the song was made for Sesame Street. This film and Bob Marley alone are both reasons I have a huge love for Jamaican culture. John Mon, it's also why he came up with me as a character. Uh-oh, I broke the fourth wall again. Ha 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 ha. Oh, right. For those that don't know, this is my character Winston, aka the Stone Jamaican Guy. You can find him on my other channel, Salty White Guy 92. John Mon, I'm really liking this video so far. I wish I could sit by and listen, but I have stories to tell. But always remember, smoke the weed and fry out the chicken. Ha 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 ha. Alright, Winston, I'll keep that in mind. Anyway, number 9. Hammer Time with Hammer.
Hammer time! Get on this! Oh yeah! Get on this! Here with my friends!
Hammer Time with Hammer is a stop-motion rap song spoofing on the very popular rap song You Can't Touch This by MC Hammer.
You can't touch this. You can't touch this. You can't touch this. You can't touch this.
It first premiered in Season 25 in Episode 3179 on January 20th, 1994. The song teaches how a hammer is properly used. I just absolutely love the animation in this song. While unfortunately it hasn't aged well visually, it was very mind-blowing for its time in the early 90s, especially since this came out a year before Windows 95, and I loved all the cool shots of the hammer banging away on the nails, especially the ones with the colorful blocks, and I also love the shots of the pliers and screwdriver and the cute little live concert with all the tools that eventually gets destroyed by the saw. Plus, the vocals in this song were just pure fire.
My name is Hammer and I'm here to say I'm a tool that hammers night and day with an awesome swing and chilling blow. Can drive any nail where I want it to go.
And I love the backup chants by the Nails.
Go Hammer! Go Hammer! Yeah, I'ma do my thing!
And that last shot of the head popping off the handle was the perfect send-off to end the song. On another note, I remember when I was a kid, I used to think the chanting Nails sounded a lot like George Carlin's Bill and Ben voice in Thomas and Friends.
Go Hammer! Go Hammer! Yeah, I'ma do my thing!
It's a waddle? Asked Bill. A diseasel, I think, replied Ben. There's a notice about them in our shed. Coughs and sneezels spread diseasels. You had a cough in your smoke box yesterday. It's your fault the diseasel came. It isn't. It is.
Number 8. The fourth Geometry of Circles cartoon. The Geometry of Circles cartoons were a series of cartoons animated by Philip Glass, which first premiered in Season 11, Episode 1392 on March 11th, 1980. The cartoons feature 6 circles forming with different colors from the rainbow. I only saw the fourth cartoon as a kid, but I always loved whenever it came on. I thought the colors were so pretty. I loved how it formed a ball with all 6 colors in the middle, and that musical chant always stuck with me to this day. I was very surprised to find out years later that there were more cartoons when YouTube came around. Number 7. Just Happy to Be Me by Kingston Livingston.
Be yourself, easy as ABC, the original, no one else. Just happy to be me.
Just Happy to Be Me is a hip-hop song performed by Kingston Livingston III, which first premiered in Season 25 in Episode 3178 on January 19th, 1994. The song was later covered by the Fugees in the Elmo-Palooza special in 1998. In the song, Kingston sings about how he does things his own way, and that everyone should be themselves and not copy anyone else. What's not to love about this song? I just love the great use of chroma key in the background, with all the cool flashback drops and effects. The ones that stuck out for me the most were the colorful hats, the colorful combs, and the school building. I also loved the chorus from his friends on the small screen TV, and the black and white flashback of Kingston and his friends dancing at a party, which was originally used as a flashback in a street scene in episode 3163. I remember as a kid often getting that shot mixed up with another black and white flashback from another song. I'm not going to mention what it is, but I will say it is going to be included later on in this list. Number 6. The Box City Recycling Rap Song.
Recycle. I can stack it, I can tape it, I can glue it down. The box can be a house in another part of town.
The Box City Recycling Rap Song is a live-action rap song sung by a group of kids, which first premiered in Season 22 in Episode 2851 on January 31st, 1991. The song teaches how you can use old items by creating something new out of them. I remember absolutely loving this song so much. Just seeing that cool little city the kids built blew my mind away, and I loved its use of stop motion, especially the train going across the bridge. I unfortunately never owned the Sing-Along Earth songs or Imagine That tapes as a kid, so my only exposure to the song was through TV airings. But it was probably for the best that I never had those tapes, as that song alone would probably cause me to wear the both of them out. Number 5. The live-action and cartoon crossover exit film.
Exit, 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 exit.
This crossover film first premiered in Season 24 in Episode 3006 on September 28th, 1992. The film features kids playing in a gym with a hip-hop beat playing in the background until the alarm signals them to leave.
Exit. Exit. Exit.
With the figures painted on the wall, animated by the late Keith Haring, coming to life and dancing their way through the exit. I hadn't seen movies like Who Framed Roger Rabbit or Space Jam at the time, so seeing those cartoon figurines come to life was so mind-blowing. And just seeing those kids dance around and having fun in the gym with that catchy hip-hop beat playing in the background, with the wide and close-up shots of the exit sign as the voices chant, "Exit, exit, exit, exit" in the background made me love this film. I unfortunately heard that gym actually closed down, which is too bad because it looked really cool. Number 4. The Number 12 Rocks cartoon.
12.
The Number 12 Rocks cartoon is a stop-motion animation cartoon that first premiered in Season 2 in Episode 195 on February 5th, 1971. The cartoon features a group of rocks gathering around a gigantic crowd in the middle of the desert, with 12 rocks, which, in my honest opinion, look a lot like the Munchkins at Dunkin' Donuts, leaving the crowd to demonstrate the number. This was easily one of my favorite Sesame Street cartoons as a kid. The stop-motion just looks so cool. And I love so many of the shots, like the numbers popping up in the sand to form a clock, a number 12 rising from the sand with its low yawn and deep 12, and how the 12 rocks literally form the number 12 and change it to the number before fading away.
1, 2, 3, 4,
Many people claim this cartoon scared them when they were kids, but I'm quite the opposite. This cartoon alone is why the number 12 has become my favorite number. Number 3. Alphabet Jungle.
Alphabet jungle. Alphabet jungle. Alphabet jungle. Let me take you to the alphabet jungle. Follow me from A to Z.
Alphabet Jungle is an animated song that first premiered in season 21 in episode 2733 on April 25th, 1990. The song basically teaches about the alphabet, with different aspects of nature on each letter, with animation provided by Klasky Supo, best known for some of their animated cartoons on Nickelodeon like Rugrats, Real Monsters, The Wild Thornberrys, Rocket Power, and As Told by Ginger. This was easily my favorite alphabet cartoon as a kid. I loved the nice mixture of live photography and traditional animation and all the cool forms of nature seen throughout the song. Though my only pet peeve with the song was the singing.
A is swinging like an ape. B is a big bad roar. C is swimming by that crocodile. Wait, there's a whole lot more.
Jesus Christ, was this way too high-pitched and whiny. Nonetheless, it was still a cartoon I always enjoyed when it came on. Like the previous cartoon, this was also a cartoon many people found to be terrifying as kids. I can understand why, but I was quite the opposite. I never owned the Do the Alphabet or Alphabet Jungle game tapes when I was a kid, but I was surprised to see the song was included on both tapes when I got them later on. Number 2. Telephone Rock by Little Jerry and the Monotones.
Rock, 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 rock. The telephone rock. Everybody sing now. Rock, rock, rock. The telephone rock.
Yes, surprise, surprise, I included this song on my list, but you're probably wondering, Alex, you're a big Little Jerry fan. How is this not listed as your number 1 pick? Well, okay, yes, I am a big fan of Little Jerry and the Monotones, if you couldn't already guess by my username and profile picture, but it's not my number 1 favorite song. You'll see what it is in a bit, but for now, let me explain this part of the video. Telephone Rock is a song performed by Little Jerry and the Monotones, which first premiered in Season 6 in Episode 733 on February 5th, 1975. The song features Little Jerry entering a telephone booth. Yeah, this song really shows its age, right? As he proceeds to make a phone call to a telephone operator and sings to her on the line. During the choruses, he is joined by the monotones who pop up one by one and duck down whenever the operator pops up on the other line, showing her annoyance with their harassment on the phone.
Listen, if you young scallywags don't stop bothering me like this, I'm gonna call the police!
Eventually, she has the band arrested, with a police officer shutting the booth and physically carrying it away as the band plays the song. So, I just want to mention, I never actually saw this song on TV as a kid. At least not until I caught the full version for the first time on a syndicated airing of episode 3146 on Noggin's 123 Sesame Street in 2003. Which was unfortunately the last year to show season 25 episodes, with seasons 30 and 31 following up 2 years later. But anyway, my main exposure to the song was on the Rock and Roll VHS, which was my first exposure to Little Jerry and the Monotones, and I have since loved the song and the band as a whole. I just love seeing the group dance in the booth, especially when it starts swaying from side to side in the third chorus, and just the fact that the police officer was able to physically pick up the heavy booth off the ground definitely added a lot of humor to the song. Plus, who couldn't forget Little Jerry's remark towards the officer in the end?
Hey, put that booth down! Where are you going with this telephone booth?
This song alone is why I ended up wearing out my original Rock and Roll VHS tape, but that tape overall has been my personal favorite as a kid. I unfortunately never saw any more of Little Jerry's songs outside of the Monotones making a cameo in Mary Had a Bicycle with Dawn Music, along with the skit of Grover demonstrating the word exit with a group of Anything Muppet hippies that would eventually evolve into the band running over him. So I must say I'm really grateful to have discovered all of his songs on YouTube many years later.
You're gonna be the receiver of all my love.
Anyway, before we get to our number 1 pick, here are some honorable mentions. A film about the garden in the middle of the city. This film first premiered in season 23 in episode 2889 on November 28, 1991. The film features kids talking about a garden in the middle of the city, where they plant vegetables and pick them when they're ripe. This is easily one of my favorite films from the 90s era. I just love all the cool shots of the plants, vegetables, animals, and insects, and the kids all look like they were having a lot of fun. Plus, you gotta love that saxophone music. Zig Zag Dance.
Now we're gonna do a dance that's bound to be a new sensation. Before very long, it will be the rage across the nation. Hold on to your seats. Yeah! I'm warning you in advance, cause it's the zany, zesty, zippy, zingy, Zig Zag Dance.
Zig Zag Dance is a song about the letter Z that first premiered in Season 12 in episode 1567 on May 12, 1981. It was originally performed by Four Anything Muppets, voiced by Richard Hunt, Chris Surf, Frank Oz, and Jerry Nelson, and later uncovered by the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones on the Count in the Elmapalooza special in 1998. I just always found this song to be really catchy, and I always loved those poles with the Z's on top. Though I do also have the unpopular opinion of saying I think the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones cover in Elmapalooza is even catchier.
It goes zigzag, zigzag. That's the way that you can also learn to do zig-zag dance.
In and Out Crowd.
We're in with the in crowd. We're too hip to go outside. We're in with the in crowd. Indoors where the cool cats hide.
In and Out Crowd is a song spoofing on the song The In Crowd that first premiered in Season 20 in episode 2612 on May 9th, 1989, with animation provided by Sally Cruikshank. The song demonstrates how two groups prefer different ways of living their lives, one indoors and the other outdoors, with various activities demonstrated by both.
We're in, we're out. We're in, we're out. And in and out is what it's all about.
I love the catchy upbeat music to this song, and the animation blew my mind away. The characters in the song made it feel like a nice combination of Rocko's Modern Life and Cat Dog in a way. The Anansi the Spider cartoons. The Anansi the Spider cartoons were a series of cartoons that premiered in Season 26. The cartoons feature a spider named Anansi, voiced by the late Ossie Davis, telling different stories originating in the lands of Africa. I really love the animation to these cartoons, plus Ossie's narration has always been very relaxing.
It was a big house. Sun and Moon had plenty of room now. So they invited their friends to come and visit. And their friends all came, except their best friend, Water.
My favorite of the three cartoons is easily the one with the baboons fighting over a game of checkers. Even though that African mascot was pretty creepy. Don't waste water.
What helps us grow the food we eat? What lets us wash our hands and feet? Clean, clear water.
Don't Waste Water is a country song sung by Jerry Nelson, spoofing on the song Cool Water by Bob Nolan, that first premiered in episode 2804 on January 31st, 1991. The song taught the concept of how important water is for our daily lives and environment, and why we should always use it carefully. While I'm not a big fan of country music, I just love the peaceful melody it had. Plus, you gotta love Jerry Nelson's singing.
Yes, water means so much that we have got to use it carefully. Don't waste water.
Water, 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 water.
The film itself had some really cool shots throughout the song, especially the opening of the close-up of a flowing river, and I always loved the backup chants.
Water, 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 water.
Don't waste water.
And finally, number 1, NTV.
Hey, and how you doing? I'm Nora Nix, your host on NTV, the first channel that is all letter N, all the time N.
NTV is a song spoofing on the then current 1980s new wave music scene, which first premiered in Season 16 in episode 2071 on April 15th, 1985. It features an MTV parody intro with a pumpkin orange gold anything Muppet named Nora Nix, performed by Fran Brill, who was a spoof of MTV VJ Nina Blackwood.
Once in a Lifetime, David Byrne, The Talking Heads, and you had Allentown, done by Billy Joel before that, here on Music Television. Speaking of Alan, he's not here, but I'm filling in for him. He will be back soon.
In the fictional MTV parody station of the same name, she introduces the band Nick Normal and the Nick Maddox performing their latest hit song,
The letter N.
As the song teaches the concept of the letter N, lead singer Nick Normal sings about his Friday afternoon one day, all involving negative words beginning with the letter N. So, if you know me well, you'll know this has always been my number one favorite Sesame Street song. One I unfortunately only remember singing 3 times as a kid, but whenever it came on, I was just so excited. I just want to mention the 80s music video styled songs on Sesame Street always got me excited when they came on. With one exception, Wet Paint. But NTV has always been my number one favorite out of all of them. First off, that opening shot of Nora Nix in the studio is great. I love the brick wall with the gold records, which is also used in other music video parody intros, including original airings of Wet Paint by How Now Brown the Moo Wave, A New Way to Walk with the Oinker Sisters with Old MacDonald, and eventually an entire Sesame Street video spoofing on MTV's music video countdowns, entitled Count It Higher, Great Music Videos from Sesame Street, with host Count Von Count. And the yellow NTV screen next to her looked really cool. And don't even get me started with the music video itself. I love the first shot with the lights turned off on the band and the background with a dim yellow color, which is changed to a grayish blue color as the lights go flashing, along with the N logo and the black box in the middle during the chorus. I also love the smoke flowing in the first chorus, followed by puffs of smoke in the second one as Nick sits on top of the box. The black and white flashbacks used throughout the song were absolute fire, especially during the second verse with the Nick Maddox playing the role as the waiters and the redecoration of Nino's as everyone dances. And by the way, this part is what often got me confused with the black and white flashback and just happy to be me. Mainly with the similar sets and the characters dancing. But anyway, the flashbacks remind me so much of the music video for I Love Rock and Roll by Joan Jett. And last of all, the closing bit with that giant animated flashing purple end was so mind-blowing when I was a kid. On another note, am I the only one who thinks the music to the song sounds so much like Pour Some Sugar on Me by Def Leppard? So, true story. When 123 Sesame Street was syndicating on Noggin, I remember desperately trying to find an episode that had this song playing to relive the nostalgia. I even had my VCR set up to record an episode with the letter N as one of the sponsors. But alas, that never happened, because I discovered the syndication package on Noggin shortly when it was coming to the end of the road. A year later, I tried looking up an image of it on Google with no luck. It wasn't until I discovered the now-defunct Sesame Street Encyclopedia site, literally a month before it closed down in the summer of 2006, that had a picture of Nick Normal from the song, which finally triggered my memory and was relieved it wasn't just a hallucination of mine. Ever since then, I was so desperate to see the clip appear on YouTube. And lo and behold, the clip finally saw the light of day again, courtesy of user Song14S in April 2007 after 8 years of being off the air. Needless to say, my then 14-year-old self was very happy. Well folks, I hope you enjoyed my personal top 10 favorite Sesame Street moments video. What skits made you excited when you were a kid that you still love today? Be sure to leave a comment below and share your thoughts. In the meantime, this video has been brought to you today by the letters N and Z and by the number 12. Other than that, I really hope you enjoyed watching this video, and until next time, I'm Alex and enjoy the rest of your day. Sunny day, sweeping the clouds away.